glad. What do you think of your opponents across the street?
Good morning, America! You did it! You hosted your last ever election. Congratulations! Yesterday was election day, and Asia Olay and I'm broke. We went out and talked with some concerned citizens at the polls in San Antonio, Texas. I am just gonna keep all of the interviews in, and I'm not really gonna edit them because I think it's just fascinating to see how people get their information and what their thoughts are on our reality and what interests them the most and how they, have conversations. So this is going to be a long video and just a whole lot of interviews. I also tried to fact check some of the things, but what is truth, So if there's anything that I fact checked incorrectly, or if there's anything that should have been fact checked that wasn't fact checked, just send me a carrier pigeon or put it in the comments below and I'll try and update that. So this is Broke and Asia Olay reporting live from the field in San Antonio, Texas on Election Day 2024.
So I'm Asia Olay. We're here out in the world. It's Election Day. We're going to interview some crazies, some maybe not so crazies. It's going to be a good time either way. Hopefully no kerfluffles.
No kerfluffles.
Let's do it. I'm Asia Olay, and we're out here with some concerned citizens. What's your name, ma'am?
Mary.
And what do you do, Mary?
I'm a professor.
Professor of
English.
Nice.
Language we speak. That's true. Which is currently under revision.
Tell us about that. Yeah. What are you out here for?
I'm out here today first to celebrate and to support one of my former students, Judge Cynthia Chapa.
Nice.
And to support the election of the first female president in the history of the United States.
I'm with that.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Yes. And we are celebrating our 40th anniversary.
Oh, congratulations!
Well, that's my husband. But
but 40 years ago, we skipped class.
Yes.
So we went to go vote together in our first presidential
and worked the
election.
polls. We did
And
exit
we
polls
the polls
together. Yeah.
So here we are, 40 years later.
So here we are.
Gray-haired old hippie ladies.
Doing our thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad. What do you think of your opponents across the street?
Well, they were expressing concern about Marxism and socialism. And so I find that interesting because I wonder if they recognize that if they accept Social Security checks or veterans benefits, that perhaps those are socialist practices. Or Medicare, Medicaid. Or
Benefits for thee
credit,
and not, yeah.
Or, any of those things. Yeah.
But I think it's great that everybody's out here expressing their views.
Absolutely.
I mean, good turnout is good for the country, no matter what side you're on. Of course, naturally, I want it to be a positive outcome for the Democrats. But, I think the fact that everybody's fired up about voting, it cannot be a bad thing.
Good.
Good thing. It's a good thing.
Are you guys glad that Joe Biden dropped out?
Yes, I think it was the most presidential thing he could have done. It was the most statesman-like a president's behaved in a long time.
Very selfless thing to do
It's a
for
very
the country.
selfless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Selfless. Very selfless.
Can't really represent for a future you may and probably won't be a part of, to be honest.
I will say that I was kind of depressed after the first debate, because it was kind of not the performance that we would have wanted. And then when he dropped out, I was really distraught because I had no idea where the ticket was going to go. And then when we got Kamala on the ticket, man, I jumped into action and
Here we are.
So Election Day here, and hoping for a good turnout, hoping for the outcome that we want, and because I think we're at a very pivotal time for our democracy.
Talk about it. I'm not trying to see chattel slavery come back anytime soon.
Oh my gosh, no kidding. And Rosa, this was Rosa's first presidential election.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What are you voting for?
Well, that's a complicated question. Admittedly, I mostly settled on voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Mostly for Walz, as I as I look out into my future, I admittedly think that the only path the country can go on right now that's going to be good for anybody is going to be a very kind of like a much more stronger social democratic path, whilst I would prefer something much more radical as an anarchist myself. I'm willing to compromise if it means people get to live.
That's a good point.
Community is not harmed.
Oh, yes,
Right.
that too. I'm trans and bisexual, and that also has played a very big role in how I've made my decision-making this year. Because, again, whilst I personally am not really a big fan of the Democratic Party, I will happily rail against them, like any good Democrat, frankly. But, it's recognizing what the future has in store for me in a Trump victory has sobered me to the reality of the situation.
That's good. Reality is always good.
Yeah, most of the time.
Most of the time.
So, sometimes we can do a little fantasy, just as a treat.
Yeah, what is it like being in Texas right now?
Well, it's weird, because in a lot of ways, my high school experience was defined by, well, early on, by having to kind of cover up my trans identity until my final year this year round, where I decided that it was more important that I openly be myself and be supportive to other trans kids around me, especially as a senior, and recognizing that there was a lot of younger trans kids coming in. And it's also just kind of weird because San Antonio in a lot of ways is a very safe bubble in a very...
We're a blue dot in the vast red, gray waste.
Yeah. It's a little beacon of respite. In fact, it's become even more of a beacon of respite in the last few weeks with the Odessa bounty system being set up, which is utterly horrific, and it's a reminder of how much the future of the trans community and for the queer community as a whole is dependent on the solidarity of others and also our own ability to care for ourselves. I've had to help some of my friends who were previously living in Florida escape the state, and it's rough knowing that I can't really go back to Florida, even though I have family there, and
live there and be comfortable there.
Yeah. It's surreal, as is the whole experience of being trans is kind of surreal, frankly, so it's just an endless spiral of surrealism.
How are you going to celebrate tonight?
Going to Judge Chappa's party.
I think I'm going to curl up into a little ball and watch The Manchurian Candidate.
That's a weird way to celebrate. Congratulations.
No. That's my success story. The failure one is if I just watch the entirety of Game of Thrones again.
Oh, wow. Double spice.
Whatever the outcome, I know how I want it to come out. And if it comes out differently, I'll mourn, and then I'll get up tomorrow and we'll start working again.
Start all over again.
Oh, my God. Let's hope for a good...
We're going to hope for a good outcome.
Yeah, please, God. I can't do it again.
To our next 40 years doing this work.
Right.
How old will you be in 40 years?
100.
So here we go.
As long as there's walkers, we can do it.
As long as there's walkers, we got it.
Just roll your asses on out there. Useful husbands, giving out cards.
There you go.
We only need you for your testes. Testes 1, 2.
That's right, he's useful.
Good luck, y'all. Thank you. All right. Okay. So again, I'm Asia Olay. I'm out here with a political supporter. What is your name, ma'am?
Nancy Getman,
Hello, Miss Gatman. And who are you out here to support?
Donald Trump, and also Lena,
Okay. Can I ask you why you're supporting Mr. Trump?
because I have supported him ever since he started, because in 2016 when he got president, and 2020. There's no doubt he's the better candidate because he is for pro-life, not the killing and slaughtering of babies and torturing them. He is for pro-life. He has demonstrated over again he's for Israel. Israel and the Bibles. I mean, he's the first president that ever backed Israel from moving the capital from Tel Aviv to Israel. So he's the first one that ever did that, and we will be blessed because of that. It says in the Bible, Genesis 12:3, that God will bless those who bless Israel and curse those who curse him. So Biden has done both. So both are coming to America. But I believe Trump will get us through it.
I think the Democrats support Israel too. Does that matter to you?
Not the Democrats. I mean, not Biden. Biden has flip-flopped back and forth. And when you flip-flop, it's
Can't
not
really
good.
trust you, right?
No. So he supports pro-life. He supports pro-Israel. He supports the border, and the border problems. Biden put Harris in charge of the border, and she did nothing. She didn't even come. So she has done nothing for us as America, other than pushing abortion.
What would you like done at the border?
Oh, I would like double things. I would like we have 10 million that we don't need. So we need to close the border for a season until we get our land straightened out. And there's 1,600 illegal voters voted in, I think it was Virginia, that they are already, able to vote.
Were the illegal voters Democratic voters or Republican? Because all the ones I've heard about have been Republicans.
Well, I'm sure that's not the illegal ones, it's the legal ones. The illegal ones are they brought them into our country so that they can vote for the Democrats. That was the purpose. Biden and what's her name?
Harris?
Harris brought them into this country to get more Democrats to vote them in. That was the purpose. But in the meantime, we've had all these 50,000 gangs come in. We've had 8 to 10 million illegals come in, but 150,000 gangs, illegal child traffickers.
Do you know the names of the gangs?
Well, I don't remember, but they showed it on TV. I mean, this one city, they just took over the complex.
You don't want to vote for a woman president to see someone of your gender go to the highest office in the world?
Only if she's good, but she's no way. She has not helped at all.
Well, she's a vice president. They're pretty much just the mascot of the government. They can't really do anything, but she was there.
Biden was put her in charge of the border, and she did nothing. She didn't even visit it. So it was just many things. The crime has gone up. She said it went down. It went up. She lied about that. She said that
You see the crime. You see the increase of crime. So it's something that we can't say there's no crime. It is an increase of crime.
Well, it's greater crime because 10 million illegals came in and 50 or 80,000 were gangsters. They were, all the ones that...
How do we know that?
Well, we see it on TV. What is it, tipping points? In high school, I was in a New York state. We had Peoples and Citizens, and I ran for third assessor one year and won.
Is that like a council person?
Yeah, but it was, I won for the students.
Oh,
so I
nice.
got to go around for a day and see what was going on and all that. So it was...
It's been in her blood for years.
It has. And my father was working with the Republican Party up north. So, and so I got to meet some of them. And
So you're from New York originally?
I was born in Massachusetts, raised mostly in New York State.
What are you doing in Texas?
I love San Antonio.
Me too, to be honest. I know. People are friendly here. It's true.
Yes, that's true. So, but I'm here because I try to follow God's perfect will of what He wants for my life, and so He wants me here, and He wants me. I believe He wants me to do the job. I believe the whole Bible from beginning to end. Some churches do not. Mine does.
What is your church?
Cornerstone with John Hagee.
Ah, yes, yeah.
He is super. He's not afraid. He does what the Lord says to say.
Yeah.
And so I'm really thrilled to be a part of that church. It's the 10 Commandments. It will be allowed to save America. We used to have it in the public schools. In 1962, they kicked prayer and God out of public schools, and they started going down, spiraling down. And I've taught for 46 years. So
Oh, what do you teach?
I teach physical education, English, reading, and I taught for 16 years and then substitute taught for 30. So I've had pre-K through 12.
Here in Texas? Oh, wow. That's amazing. Yeah. In the public schools or in private?
Well,
Oh, wow.
I've been in private and Montessori and charter and
Yeah.
all that, but mostly public.
Okay. And so it sounds like a lot of what's motivating you to be active is God's calling to you. Yes. And what is God calling you to?
He's calling me to be a voter guide, to work with voter guides. I've done that for about 40 years, about 20 in Florida and about 25 here.
And are those things that you learned from your church, Cornerstone, or how did you?
Well, he helped. I had a lot of it embedded already.
Oh, nice, yeah. And how did you find Pastor Hagee in Cornerstone?
Well, it was on TV.
Ah,
And I was living at the time in Mississippi, and my parents were moving to Houston. My dad worked when they landed on the moon. He worked with LTV, which is not LTV, I'm sorry. Anyway, he worked with another company that was working with NASA. They put the electricity onto NASA so they could communicate with him on the moon.
wow, so cool. Intergalactic communication. Wow, so cool. Okay, if you could talk to aliens, what would you say to them?
I don't talk to aliens because they are from the devil.
Oh, really?
Demons, yeah.
Okay, tell me more.
Yeah. When the devil, he was Lucifer, and he was in the Bible, he was the highest angel, best looking,
Right.
and everything. And then he decided he was going to take over God's place, and he didn't. God kicked him out, so he's floating around in space and looking for a place. And he ends up on Earth. It deceives the Adam and Eve, and from that point on, sin and death entered the earth. And so because he entered the earth, that's why there's a lot of pain and suffering. But God is out to help us children and help us to get more children because he wants to help them. If they're not his children, he's not as able to help them. Sometimes he does.
Well, in Revelation, it talks about how all people will enter into the kingdom of God.
No.
Oh, okay. What does it say?
No, it says that he will come down. Have you heard of the
The whore of Babylon. Yeah, they talk about that in Revelation.
You just wanted to say horror.
I just wanted to say whore. No, I'm kidding. I'm not from the devil, I promise. I promise. I might be an alien, but yeah.
But anyway,
I'm colored. Yeah.
the rapture.
The
When the
rapture.
rapture comes,
Yes.
God will take his children out before he burns up the earth.
Ah.
See, before it was the flood with Noah's Ark, and he used the rainbow to say he won't do it again.
Right.
But he is going to do it with the angels taking all his children out for the rapture.
Okay, so God basically is an abusive boyfriend because he said he wouldn't abuse us again, and then he's going to do it again with the rapture?
Well, he's going to pull his children out so they don't get hurt.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so when that happens, then he's going to reign here on 1,000 years.
Oh.
So there will be no pain during, he'll be king.
Oh, that'd be so nice. No pain. Ugh, so
Yeah,
nice.
and, well, in heaven, there's
Yeah.
no pain. There's no pain.
Yeah.
But he will rescue us from pain here.
Uh-huh.
Which-
And is this Pastor Hagee talking about this related to Israel and
Oh, yeah.
the rapture?
Israel. Jesus is from Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because he's from Israel, he's God's child.
Mm-hmm.
And he died on the cross for our sins. So Jesus could have said, no, I'm not going to do that. But he obeyed his Father. And so he did die on the cross for our sins so that people can go to heaven. Otherwise, nobody could go to heaven.
Got it. So when the rapture happens,
Yeah.
what's going to happen?
Well, then the dead in Christ will rise. All those who died first that are his children will rise first. And then the people on this earth will rise up.
Oh, wow.
His
I didn't
children.
know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was just whoever was on Earth alive at that point. If they're chosen, then they get taken.
Yeah,
out.
well, if they're chosen, if they're his child.
Right.
If they're his child.
But
so you
all
have
dead
to,
people too, so bones and.
What? No. Dead. See, there's a place for the righteous dead. And those who die, that are his children, will go. There'll be no pain, no suffering there. And so the rest will go to the place, hell,
Right,
or purgatory, or whatever.
Right.
But-
Yeah.
So they go to a separate place, and our people go to a different place. But when God burns up the place here, all his children will be in heaven already.
Okay. Yeah.
And-
And so how do you get adopted by God?
All you have to do is ask God to ask Jesus to come into your heart and take over your life. Repent first, because we're all born in sin because of what Adam and Eve did. Because of what Adam and Eve did, Eve was deceived by the devil.
Yeah.
She was fooled. And
Yeah,
so-
crazy how the very first sin was a woman who ate. Yeah.
and then
Yeah. Crazy.
But you see, sin and death entered the world, and that's when they started to grow old. They didn't die right away.
Oh,
It
so
was
if
like-
they had never sinned, we'd be eternal.
Right.
We'd be
kind
vampires.
of Elon
No,
Musk
we
vampires.
wouldn't. No, we wouldn't.
Oh, no.
I'm
Oh, okay.
joking, yeah.
No,
No.
we wouldn't be.
What
no.
would we be?
We would have a body that does not grow old.
Ooh. So we'd be fetuses?
No,
No? Oh.
no, they will be born and they will be grown up, but the sin and death came into the world because of what Adam and Eve did.
Right.
If they didn't do it,
They just stay.
we'd just have the same bodies without pain, suffering, or death.
Oh.
Because
Oh, but so it would just be Adam and Eve. So we wouldn't have ever existed.
no, you would too.
We would too. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
Oh,
they
cool.
would have had children. It's just that happened before they had
But they
children.
they weren't married.
Well, they were in God's eyes.
They were in God's eyes. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I heard about the immigration. I have a few questions about immigration. So the ideal is that we deport everyone. Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
We
yeah.
need to start all over again.
Okay.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not sure what
Okay.
Pastor Hagee says.
And
but
how far do we go in deportation? Is it everyone who's come over
Not everyone,
Not
but
everyone.
everyone since they opened the borders.
since they opened the borders? So like, you're from New York, Italians, Irish.
But
Jews.
mostly Mideast and
Mideast.
Mexico.
Oh, okay. So
Bec-
the plan is to deport people from the Middle East and Mexico only.
No.
Yeah.
Haitians can stay.
No.
No, okay. Haitians too. They're gone too.
Everybody.
Okay.
Nigerians?
Nigerians.
Everybody. I think we should start over again. And
Who's gonna
once-
answer the phone at Microsoft if they take all the Indian people?
Indian.
Oh yeah, who's gonna answer the phone at Microsoft if we take all the Indians back? You know?
No, I didn't say all.
Oh, okay.
I mean, a lot of.
Oh, but we'll keep the workers. Okay.
Whoever after the border was open,
Okay.
those are the
So-
ones that should go.
So okay. So the border was open. All the Irish, all the Italians, all of them that came through.
Since Biden opened it.
So I actually worked as a legal advocate in the migrant detention facilities on the border in Texas, in Dilley, and the borders are not open. So how do you know that they're open?
Oh, I've been there too.
Oh, you have? Oh, tell me about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Reynosa. No. Well, no, it wasn't Reynosa. It was Reynosa. And I went with a group that was witnessing for Jesus.
Oh yeah.
And there was a whole lot of people camped out. They weren't allowed to. It had been 6 months since they'd been able to go across the borders. That's what I was told there. I don't know about the other places.
So you were on the Mexico side, or you were on both sides? And people were camped out there?
Yes.
Okay.
Intense.
But they weren't allowed to leave.
Not yet. But when
so
we
the
got
borders
there,
aren't open.
Well, that's where that was. I don't know about the other borders.
Okay.
But they were the second day we were there, and they had 2 buses filled up with single ladies. Now you figure out why it has to be single ladies.
Yeah, that's kind of gross.
Yeah, it's for the, you know what.
Oh man, that's scary.
Yeah, there was a lot of them that were crying. They didn't want to go. Some of them didn't go, and this was. This was...
Were they being taken to a detention center?
They were taken to different places, different cities
throughout
the USA.
Yeah.
But there were 2 buses. They were not marched.
Oh, wow.
They were not marched.
Well, thank you for your work as a witness. And the word martyr comes from witness. So do you find that you're a martyr for God, a martyr for Trump?
Well, if I need to be, I will.
Yeah. I will.
What do you mean?
Yeah. What does that mean? Yeah.
What?
When you say
What do you mean?
if you say you need to be,
You'll die for...
Because I believe in what he's doing. I believe he's sent by God to help rescue America. Because it's not just... Look at the food prices escalated. The gas prices escalated. The crime is escalated. She said it wasn't, but it's true, it is.
So you said you will be a martyr for Trump if you need to be. Do you have any idea of what that might look like, or?
Doesn't matter what.
Doesn't matter what?
Yeah.
Okay. And so who would you trust to hear, whose voice would you trust to hear to do that?
Well, sometimes it's when I'm praying, I can get things out of the Bible. God will warm my heart, and he will tell me, I'm talking to you. Or sometimes it'll be through a prophet. There are regular prophets, there are false prophets, but I have to be sure it's a godly prophet.
And who are the godly prophets of our time?
Well, one of them is our pastor.
Pastor Hagee.
Yeah, one of them. And
so if Pastor Hagee told you to do something, you would consider that a voice of God?
It depends. I would have to pray about it and see if it was, because he's not perfect, but most of the time he's right on.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And that feeling of warmth you're talking about when God comes inside of you, tell me more about that. Yeah.
Okay. When you become a child of God, you receive the power of the Holy Spirit. And that's what Jesus said he would send to us in his place, so that he can guide us, direct us, heal us, bless us, whatever is needed, he would help us with. So it's God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. All 3 are God. So.
Oh, wow. I think you just filled me up. That feels so good. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming inside of me. That feels so good.
That's Jesus.
That's Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus is coming inside of me. Wow. Well, God bless you. And I'm so grateful for your time speaking with us today. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Anything you'd like to talk about? Anything you'd like to say?
Well, I thank you girls for being here and being an instrument of the Lord, of trying to find truth.
Yes. Amen to that. Let us all find truth. Yes.
Dementia Biden, or Beijing Biden, where he said he's talking about Puerto Rico and he's saying that Puerto Rican, I didn't get all of it because sometimes he mumbles and you can't understand. He was saying that Puerto Rico, someone had said Puerto Rico was a floating island of garbage. And he says the only thing garbage are Trump supporters.
The White House, they're not allowed to change the transcripts of what he says.
But
It's
they do
against
it
the law,
anyway.
but they did, to remove his comment about us being garbage. But there's videos of him calling us garbage.
I heard that.
And you know what? According to historians, 85% of the population in the United States don't know what is really going on. They don't know about the deep state.
Okay.
They don't know about the stolen election. They don't know that Biden family got millions through communist China. How do you think communist China were able to buy the agricultural land mostly next to military bases? How do you find that out? Watch congressional inquisitions.
And watch foreign news, because
That's
our
right.
mainstream media. I got it.
And not only foreign media.
All right.
Watch local media.
Local media.
Local media. Like
And-
go to the Chicago local media, go to the city council meetings in Chicago.
Go to
in
the
Ohio.
congressional meetings.
Yes, congressional meetings. That's where you find out that Biden posted through NGOs, which are non-government organizations, funded by Homeland Security Mayorkas. He funded these people that were coming into the United States. We are the invasion, and they passed out pamphlets.
No, they are the invasion.
Yes, but all of the invasion. These non-NGOs are the ones who were helping all of those illegals come in here, and they were given pamphlets. And if you watch Marjorie Taylor Greene in a congressional meeting addressing Mayorkas, she brings out that pamphlet and it says, don't forget that when you get to the U.S. to vote for Joe Biden. That's why he did not want to quit. And
you guys his racial background, if you don't mind?
I'm Hispanic.
Hispanic?
I'm white.
White? Caucasian? German?
BBC.
Yeah, BBC is good.
Sky News Australia.
Okay.
They tell both sides.
Because we're MAGA. We're MAGA, and he says MAGA, Donald Trump supporters, are garbage. And then he said he didn't say that. Biden said that.
Biden
Sorry.
said that, but then the White House changed the transcript.
And they're not supposed to
They're
do
not
that.
allowed to do that, but they did it anyway.
There's a video. I mean, I saw
And then they placed Harris just like that. She was supposed to be voted in by her people. No one has ever done that.
No, I didn't find it funny because I have friends that are from Puerto Rico.
Right.
Okay. It was not funny. It was out of line, and he deserved to get blasted. But Biden went around and flipped it and said, no, they're not garbage, which is true. They're not.
They're not.
But then he called all Trump supporters garbage.
Get educated. Get educated. I am gay, 100%. I've been gay since I came out age 18. Okay? And I was Democrat at one point in time, and then when I went to college and I started learning things, that's when I changed.
What did you learn that changed you?
How everything works, the politics of international economic relations for one, okay? And I started learning how it's important for the United States to remain a superpower.
Which we are not at present.
Okay, tell me about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When Trump was in office,
Mm-hmm.
when Trump was in office, our country was respected. Okay, no new wars started. Trump brokered peace in the Middle East between countries that had never been at peace. Putin was afraid of us. Kim Jong-un or whatever his
Kim
name
Jong-il.
is. Thank you.
He, yeah.
He respected us. He wasn't going to start anything. And when Trump threatened, when he was going to do his missiles tests, Trump basically said, "Yeah, don't do it or else." Okay, so they stopped. Okay, as soon as Biden took office, he immediately showed how weak he is. So then, that's when all these wars started up again. That's when Putin invaded Ukraine. That's when things started up again in the Middle East.
And the problem was when Trump left office, he had made a pact with all the countries not to do business with Iran. Okay? They were broke. They didn't have any money. Like, in other words, he told the country, that's why he likes to use tariffs, because he says, oh, you're not going to import your stuff. We're going to give you 75% tariff. So that's how he controls them. And he says, okay, we won't. So they cut everything. They were poor. As soon as Biden became president, he undid 93 or 94 of the laws. One was securing the border, and one of them was about Iran. So Iran became wealthy, and they're the ones who funded Hezbollah. And that's why Hezbollah attacked Israel. And that's how everything got started. See, that's why you all need, only 35% of the population know what's really going on. And you know what people say about us? Oh, they're conspiracy theorists. No, we're not. We watch, like where they were eating cats and dogs, they were.
Tell me about it.
They were. Go into Missouri, Ohio, Springfield, Ohio, and look up individuals that are being interviewed, cop cameras in different parts of Ohio. These Haitians eat. They killed, like that woman that was caught. It wasn't in Springfield. It was in Ohio. She doesn't speak English, but they arrested her because she killed a neighbor's cat. The cat is there, and they say, that cat is dead. The two neighbors reported her because she was eating. It's a ritual. These people are third world country people. All of they interviewed people, and they said, you know how San Antonio has duck ponds? And we go and we feed them. Guess what the Haitians did? There are no more ducks. They killed them all, the ducks and the geese, and they ate them, cutting their heads off.
Not at our local ponds, but in states where they're at.
Huh? Yes, because they do a lot of voodoo, and that's part of their.
Ma'am, can we go back to you being gay and you being conservative as well?
Yes,
It doesn't bother you that your rights could possibly be stripped away under a Trump presidency?
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. No, because I'm going to be me. Because I've been gay since before marriage.
Right.
So it doesn't bother me.
So you don't want any tax benefits similar to your friend here who's in a different relationship than you? You want to be treated differently because you're gay?
Well, I've never been a one-issue voter. I never really have been. Like the thing of abortion, I remember I used to jog in Houston, and my friends would say, are you afraid to get raped? And I said, no. I mean, yes, but, and what if you get pregnant? I would never abort a child that was created by God. That's right. Never, ever, ever. Because that's a gift.
Have you ever had that situation happen to you? Or
No.
known anyone?
No, I haven't. I've come close to it, but no. Trump!
Okay, I did want to say one thing
Okay, great.
about the Haitians. I was over on the East Coast, Daytona Beach, having dinner with two missionaries who went to Haiti, and they said for all their lives, the devil was in charge of their country, but except for 2 years. And then for the 2 years, they were missionaries, so they got in and tried to do something. But then they switched back to having the devil as their God.
Did you know that at the moment of conception, it's already been recorded? The moment the sperm hits the egg, the egg lights up. There's a bright light, and scientists can't explain what that is.
So does that
The moment the sperm, it is a creation of God. It is a creation of God. He is, look, to me, no woman or no man has a right to decide whether you can kill something that was created by God.
Do you believe in chemotherapy?
I'm going to say yes and no.
Okay.
Okay?
Because cancer is created by God. And that's
Well,
exactly
yeah,
right.
but that's
You wanna
not.
put that out.
Yes, but that's not a human. Cancer.
The devil, not by God.
Well,
How do we know if something's created by God?
well, here we're talking about.
God only does something good. He doesn't do something evil. So God does something good, and he does something. But the devil
Okay, so
Who have
Kill,
died
steal, and
because they
destroy.
haven't gotten health care. That was good.
No, that's not good.
no, that's not good.
Okay.
Okay, but anyway, I'm talking about the human life.
Right.
We are created in God's image. Everything that comes out of our mouth. Sure. Where I'm wearing a garbage bag.
Oh, I want that too.
If you want one, I've got more.
Thank
Do
you.
you all know each other?
No,
Oh, nice.
no, we're a family. MAGA is a family.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait, are you good?
Yes.
Wait, I think he's.
I don't know why. It's just not.
I think the wind is
The wind
The
is
way.
fighting.
Okay.
We'll just do. Oh yeah, we'll just hold it like
No,
this.
but he wants to hold it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let me give you my phone too.
Covered.
You're important too.
Trump is more important.
2, 3. I took a few.
Thank you.
Thank-
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Stay there. Stay there.
Okay, they're interviewing us. So we're talking about a human creation, right?
1, 2, 3. I took a few.
Thank you.
So we're talking about a human creation. And I am very, I know that God exists.
Right.
I know for a fact that he does. Don't ask me why, but I know that he does exist. And everything that the human being that he creates, we're created in his image. We're created in God's image. And so only God has a right to take a life, give a life and take a life. It's not up to a man. There's no contest there. This is between God and humans.
I'm for the death penalty, not 100%, but majority of the time, because an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, that if you take someone's life, then you should be able to have it taken.
And the eye and the eye and the tooth for a tooth, eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth is in the Old Bible. The
Old Testament.
The New Bible, which is the Christ Bible, says turn the other cheek.
Sometimes that
Forgive. You need to forgive.
Sometimes that happens.
Yes.
I mean, you always forgive, but whether it's taken, because if this person does it, will do it again and again. We don't want that.
Well, but
there needs to be adequate punishment for their offenses.
But
And
I don't believe in the
with-
death penalty.
especially if they're going after kids.
Yeah.
There needs to be adequate punishment for the crime, especially when they're going after kids. Okay?
Okay.
But I think it'll hurt more if they have to live with it, you know?
We agree on something.
What do we agree on? Absolutely. Oh, yes. Great. Oh, we're getting the whole squad together. Great. So y'all just met today. Yeah. Yeah.
We just met.
Oh, amazing.
And it's like going back to one of your previous topics, I was a victim of it.
That's for you. Okay.
Thankfully, I did not become pregnant, but I still carry the trauma of that every day. And, 40 odd years later, he's still not been caught.
Oh, God.
Chicken
That must be. That's. He feels.
It's at least I was an adult. There were people doing this to children. There are people doing this to babies. They recently had a case where the man, I think the baby was either 3 or 6 months old, and he raped that child to death. Okay. People like that deserve the death penalty.
Absolutely agree.
Okay. I'm not saying everybody deserves it, but people like that deserve it. There is no fitting punishment other than death for somebody that does things like that.
Can I ask you maybe a difficult question, and feel free not to answer it? If you had become pregnant, would you have kept the child?
That's a very hard decision to make because, I do not fault any woman who became pregnant by rape or incest who chooses to terminate that pregnancy. And I support the ones that choose to keep that baby. But keep in mind, if a woman becomes pregnant because of a circumstance like that, every single day that she is pregnant is a continual reminder of what she went through.
Right.
And not all women are psychologically strong enough to deal with the 24/7 reminder of the trauma.
Do you agree with no exceptions for rape or incest?
No, there should be exceptions.
Agreed.
And I don't think, if it's a teenage girl or a young girl, I don't think it should be her parents' choice. I think they should be able to weigh in on it, but ultimately I think it should be her decision based on whether she thinks that she is psychologically strong enough to deal with the 24/7 reminder of what she has been through.
Right. It's just so much trauma.
It truly is. I still have nightmares from it.
Right.
And I was an adult.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so
I
sorry.
got away with my life, and thankfully I did not become pregnant. Because that would have been such a hard choice to have to make.
Right.
And as much as it pains me to say, at that point in my life, I probably would have terminated. Because I was emotionally fragile at that point anyway, due to having been brought up in an extremely abusive environment. That was just one more trauma I did not need. And I would not have needed the continual reminders.
Right.
I mean, for crying out loud, I changed my name because of the abuse from growing up. Because every time somebody said my name in the wrong tone of voice, it triggered flashbacks.
Oh my God.
Some traumas just stay with you forever.
And speaking of those flashbacks, how does it feel that this is a topic that's talked about nonstop in the media these days?
At this point, I find it easier to talk about what I've been through.
Oh, okay.
At the time, it was much harder, but now, every time I talk about it, I think that it helps free me a little bit from what I've been through.
Oh, wow.
And my ability to survive everything that I've been through may be what it takes to give somebody else the strength to try to fight through, rather than to try to end their life.
You are so strong. Wow. 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 So the man that's on the flag here, Donald Trump, his policies have not included exceptions for rape or incest, but we still support him.
He wants to leave it up to each state. Okay.
Yeah. So Texas, we're in Texas.
We are in Texas.
Yeah.
Although I overall support our governor, I do think that he is wrong to not allow for the exceptions. My biggest problem with the whole, my two biggest problems with the whole abortion aspect is too many girls and women were choosing to use abortion as a form of birth control and having abortion after abortion after abortion because they couldn't be bothered to take other precautions. And the fact that Planned Parenthood, after they abort so many of these babies, they're turning around and selling the body parts.
What?
Yes.
Wait, how did you find out about that? Wow.
There are videos where they've interviewed off the record people at Planned Parenthood. They're selling body parts for research. So they're profiting off of each child that they abort.
You.
And like I said, I support the right to abortion in the case of rape and incest. I do not support the right to abortion just as a means of birth control because you can't bother to take other precautions. You know, and yes, accidents happen even if you take precautions.
Yeah.
But if you are willingly participating in the act itself, you need to accept the consequences.
Got it.
It's when the issue has been forced upon the female.
Yeah.
And I do use the term female.
Oh, tell me about that. There was some energy there. Yeah, tell me about that. Yeah.
There are only
Instead of people with vaginas, you say female.
Yes, there are only two true sexes. There is a very, very, very minuscule percentage that are born with both sets of
Intersex
genitalia.
individuals?
Yes, intersex.
Yeah.
But those people who choose to claim that they are the other sex,
You have to admit, they commit to the bit, man. They cut
Yeah,
their stuff
they
off.
cut
they
their
do.
tits off.
And
Yeah.
you
That's a
realize
lot to do.
so many of those people, a few years after the fact, come to regret
Oh.
that they have made that decision because they have destroyed their life. Their body is never going to be the same.
How do you know that?
I've watched interviews with them.
Oh, okay.
I've watched interviews where these people who've been through the sex change operations have come out and said, "Oh my God, I wish I'd never done this. I wish it had never been presented to me as an option."
Have you
Others-
ever met someone who identifies as a different gender?
Yes.
Oh, you have? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Yeah.
Many years ago, a friend of mine, he was born male, but he always considered himself to be female. He made a better looking woman than most women.
That's how it goes.
usually goes,
That's how it
And,
goes.
and he was absolutely gorgeous. Okay, he was actually very early in the whole sex change operation thing. I mean, this was I know that's been a possibility since the 50s. Okay, in the 80s it was still fairly new. Okay, and in the 80s he actually went through the sex change operation because he had spent his entire life feeling like he was in the wrong body. And about 10 years later, he realized that, it was fine he was fine having the ability to, dress as a woman and act like a woman, but the damages to his body from the surgeries that he went through, he was in pain 24/7, 365. He had all kinds of other medical issues because, so many infections, not to mention the medications that he had to take to try to keep things the way they now were.
Right.
He regretted that he'd ever made that decision. He said, "I should have just kept dressing as a woman and acting like a woman and kept the equipment I was provided with."
Yeah, getting the period sucks. No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I don't have to deal with that anymore.
Hey, congratulations, you graduated. Yeah.
About 30 years ago.
Hey, amazing. I wanted to ask you about the flag that you're holding. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
This is an image that was taken when the first assassination attempt was made on Donald Trump. This is where he stands up and the Secret Service is trying to surround him to get him off stage, and yet Donald Trump was not going to give up. That's why he raised his fist with "fight." And if he had waited a split second longer to turn his head, the assassination attempt would have succeeded. If you look at the images that they've created, if his head had not turned when it did, the bullet would have destroyed him. But he turned his head just enough at just the right second to where all it did was graze his ear.
Wow.
And I firmly believe that the hand of God was looking out for him.
And when that happened, tell me about, how did that make you feel?
I was horrified that somebody tried. I was horrified that the Secret Service had not done their due diligence to try to secure the area. And as you know, the director has resigned. There's still a lot of investigations going on. But even former members of the Secret Service have come forward and said, they didn't do their job. They flat out did not do their job. They did not secure the perimeter. They did not secure the roof lines. They had reports from people in the audience and even from law enforcement that was on site that there was a suspicious person, and they did nothing about it. They let it happen. I think that they wanted for it to happen.
Oh, interesting. Tell me about that. Who's they, by the way?
The Secret Service and the FBI and Homeland Security, because they're all in the pockets of Harris and Biden. And
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so you think the Secret Service wanted Trump to be assassinated?
Yes.
Okay. How would that benefit them?
They wouldn't have to worry about a strong Republican coming in and, as they say, cleaning the swamp.
Do you like J.D. Vance?
He's a hell of a lot better than the opposite side.
I don't know much about Walz. What don't you like about Walz?
One, he's just like Beijing Biden, he is also in the hands of the Communist Republic of China.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Is he? I thought he didn't own any stocks or bonds or anything like that.
He used to date the daughter of one of their big leaders.
Oh,
For real?
For real. She thought that he was going to marry her and that she would come to the States and become a citizen.
Oh, wow.
And then he decided, no, I think we're done.
I had never
heard
that. Oh man.
You can look it up.
Oh yeah, definitely going to. Yeah.
You can look it up.
That's
Is
crazy.
the president's daughter the president now or some other?
I don't remember if it's the current Chinese leader, but definitely one of the leaders. But like I say, he was dating her for a very long time. But
Everybody proud of their dating history?
they had to keep it under wraps.
Oh, look who's there. Oh, come on over.
my God.
Yeah, look who's there. Oh man. Oh man.
We need more orange paint.
I'm gonna be right back.
I actually have. Look, one of my kiddos here has. Mercy, come show them your T-shirt.
Because of her father's
She's got the actual,
position.
that was my Halloween costume.
Oh, nice.
See?
Nice.
And if she were to put it on, see?
Because of her father's position within the Communist Republic of China, they
Do
had
you
to
mind if
keep
we
their
interview you guys later?
relationship under wraps.
What would happen if the assassination attempt, if God hadn't intervened in the assassination attempt? What do you think would have happened?
We would have had a much weaker Republican candidate who would be much more inclined to be bought. If you
He's not on the ticket, by the way.
He's not on the ticket.
He's not on the ticket
He's not
at
on the
all, by
ticket.
the way. But okay, cool.
he distracted me.
So you said that there would be a much weaker candidate. So what makes Donald Trump strong as a candidate?
Because he's refused to be bought
Interesting.
by all of the special interest groups. If you look at this, look at all of the major politicians, not just the presidents and vice presidents, but senators and congressmen. Look at all of them. Look at what their net worth was when they went into office. Look at what their annual salary is, and look at what their net worth is now. They could not accumulate the types of wealth they have now based on the salaries that they were making.
Got it. So, but
Trump is the only one that has gone into office and come out with a lower net worth at the end of his term.
okay.
And he did not even accept any of his presidential salaries. Every single time he got paid, he donated it to one or another organization. He donated all of his presidential salaries to various organizations.
I didn't know that.
Yes, ma'am. He did
That's really
not accept a single one of his checks.
What about all the foreign leaders who stayed in his hotels and paid him millions of dollars while he was in office?
You know, people stay in hotels.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay.
What
They
if-
could have chosen to stay anywhere.
How about, have you seen the shoes that he's selling and the bright gold shoes and the Bible that he's selling?
He can sell what he wants. Not everybody doesn't have to buy it.
Okay.
Okay.
But he's profiting off of using the presidential race as a...
But at least people are getting something they can put their hands on for it.
Okay.
We're talking, people like Biden and his entire family, profited from Ukraine, from China, from all of this stuff. Do any of us get any benefit out of that?
Hell
no.
no.
But his family does. Okay.
Yeah.
And they
What about Ivanka?
And they talk
Yeah.
about quid pro quo. Okay, they
Tell
tried
me
to
about
blast Trump for quid pro quo. Even though the Ukrainian leader at the time said there was nothing wrong. Okay, but it is on videotape. It is recorded that when Biden was vice president and he went to Ukraine and was speaking with the leader there, it's like, look, if you want this $1 billion that we have for you, you will fire the prosecutor that is currently investigating Burisma, where my son works.
Wow. Oh.
Okay, if you don't fire that prosecutor, you're not getting this $1 billion. And I'm leaving in an hour, so make your decision quick.
Have you seen the company that Trump just started? That's an investment company where international leaders have been investing into it.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay, awesome. How about Ivanka? Do you know how much money she got from foreign nations while her father was president?
No.
Okay, it's about $60 billion. So there's a lot of money that was going to their children while he was president.
Well, she wasn't selling access to the president.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, she,
Yeah.
if they wanted to give her, she wasn't in there trying to sell his voice.
Okay. What was she selling? Yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
Advice, I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
But it's like,
Yeah.
okay, when...
But when Hunter Biden did that, he was selling his father.
Yes.
Okay.
Because he had absolutely no experience in the energy industry.
Okay.
He had no skills, even running an office.
Yeah.
But he kept setting up meetings between these people and his father.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Include, all kinds of meetings with him, all kinds of phone calls with him.
Wow. Oh man, you have so much knowledge. Wow.
I know there's still a lot of things I don't know.
Same.
But what
Same.
I have seen, and I'm in my 60s, so I've seen a lot. Okay. But what I have been watching is that our country during the Trump administration was in a better financial standing and a better seat of power in the world than it had been in decades, if possibly even ever. And as soon as Biden went into office, our country very quickly became the laughing stock of the world.
That's not fun. Yeah, I don't want to do that. What got you into politics? What got you activated? Yeah.
Watching what's going on in the world, watching what's going on in our country.
Yeah. So this election, it was this election.
No, it's been going on. When Obama ran for his first administration, the things that he was saying sounded good, and had he followed through on the things that he said, I would have continued to support him. But once he got into office, he very quickly started showing his true colors.
I see.
And so, he lost my support then and there. And I do think that he's been at least to some degree, the puppet master running Biden.
Interesting.
There was an interview where Obama was saying, it's like, I wouldn't mind having a third term where I just sit in the basement and talk into somebody's earpiece. Okay. And I do believe that that's been a lot of what was going on with Biden. But
Because he needs those earpieces. He can't hear very well. Yeah.
that, and he can't think straight.
Yeah,
he
me
can't
either,
speak
to be
straight.
honest. Yeah.
Um,
Well, you get to
and-
be a certain age, and
Yeah, well, and Biden, I firmly believe Biden is also a pedophile.
oh, all right. Tell me about that.
If you've ever watched the news conferences,
Which
where
is
any of the Biden news conferences,
Any of them, okay.
any of them, where if there's a child around,
uh-huh.
he gets that child up on stage, or he gets multiple children up on stage, and he's all handsy with them. Even when that child is pulling away in discomfort, he still is grabbing that child and pulling it close. Okay?
Have you seen the photos of Trump with his daughter?
I've seen a lot of photos of Trump with his daughter, but I've never heard of Trump taking a shower with his daughter.
I haven't either.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah,
I
But I
haven't
have
either.
heard
But-
of him being a creep with women and girls.
Locker
Understood.
rooms.
I do not like Trump as a person.
Oh, okay.
I do not like Trump as a person, but I think that he was doing good things for our country.
Okay.
He was putting our country ahead of himself.
Right, and what good things did he do for our country?
We had a better economy than we'd had in decades. We had the respect of the world, whether it be respect or fear.
Okay.
They weren't going to mess with us when he was in office. Okay. We were energy independent, something that had not happened in, decades and decades. I could go to the store and get a month's worth of groceries
Yeah.
for less than I pay now for a week's worth.
Yeah. Inflation is wild, and it's wild all over the country. In the United States, actually, it's a lot lower than the rest of the country. Does that change your thoughts about it at all?
No.
No. Okay. Yeah.
This country, and also when you look at the inflation numbers that they quote, some point, and I don't know if it was like 10 or 15 years ago, maybe even 20, but they changed how they determined the inflation rate. The old inflation rates included a lot more categories.
I'm not an economist, so I don't know.
I don't remember.
I'm just a comedian.
I don't remember the specifics, but
Is it like a gallon of fuel, like it costs a loaf of bread or milk or something?
Well, it's like
standard markers.
they used to include more different categories of items that they would look at. Now I'm not certain if they've, whether it's fuel prices that they are no longer including in the inflation ratio or housing, but they've
But it's definitely more expensive.
They,
these days.
and they've changed
Yeah.
the matrix. So
Yeah.
even though they
Oh,
may give you,
Let's go.
even though they give you,
Red, blue, purple. Yeah.
they may say that, well, inflation is lower now. But if they were to calculate the inflation using the same criteria that they did 20 years ago, our inflation would be substantially higher than what it looks like.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Like I
it's-
said,
yeah.
they changed the criteria.
You have taught me so much. I am so glad we talked to you today. There's a lot of stuff I need to look up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look up how they changed the
Yeah,
inflation
yeah.
matrix and how they determine the inflation rates. Because they used to have all these different categories that they would look at to come up with an inflation rate. Now they've narrowed it down to, they're just looking at these. Everything else is inconsequential, even though it's gone up.
Right.
It isn't reflected in the published inflation rates.
Right. Yeah.
But
If you don't like the numbers, change the calculation.
There you go.
Exactly.
There you go. There you
Exactly.
go. Is there anything else you'd like to say or anything else you'd like to talk about?
I just think the only way we're going to get our country back onto a solid footing and possibly eliminate some of the current wars that are going on is to get a strong leader.
Yeah, Ukraine needs to wrap that shit up.
Right.
My Ukrainian sister-in-law.
Oh.
Would agree with me. She
Yes.
needs to wrap that shit up too.
Yeah. Her
Well-
family is still over there. She hears what's going on. She does not blame Trump for the war
But
because he wasn't in office.
he has said he would let Putin take over Ukraine. Would your sister-in-law be okay with that?
I don't know. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I know that she does not blame Trump for allowing that war to start.
Okay.
Because when Trump was in office, Putin wasn't going to mess with it because he didn't want to bring down the wrath of Donald Trump on him,
Oh, wrath of
on
Donald
him
Trump.
and his country.
To
Look
be
at
honest,
that.
I wouldn't want the wrath of Donald.
No, me either. No, definitely not. He'd grab me by the pussy, and I don't even. Yeah,
You might like it. and
Yeah, and then it'd be confusing.
And,
Yeah.
and even at that, a lot of the women who have come forward and claimed stuff, a lot of it can't be proven. I'm not saying none of it happened. But I'm also thinking that at least some of them are just coming out of the woodwork just to get their name in the paper.
Oof, that's hard because I like to believe victims.
I believe victims to a point, having been one myself.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, but you believe that you don't listen. You don't believe that they're speaking the truth.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
That's got to be really difficult as a victim to think that. Yeah. Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow. Thank you so much. This has been really, really powerful for me. I hope it's been.
Like I said, you should
Yeah.
look into this some of this stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you're just looking at, ABC and CBS and NBC, if you're looking at the mainstream media, they're covering up a lot of it. A lot of it you're
Right.
never going to hear from them.
And they're the
you
same
have to
talking
go
points.
to alternate sources.
But
all of these are
It's the
funded.
Associated Press. They all have the same lines.
Yeah. The
Have
exact
you
same
seen
on
the
both
videos
sides.
where station after station after
local
station
stations. Yeah, that's all
across
Sinclair.
the country are saying
Yeah.
literally the exact same line?
Yeah.
George Soros and his
No, that's Sinclair. That's Sinclair.
George Soros is behind a lot of it. Look at where his money is
That's
going.
Murdoch. That's Fox. Those local stations.
Yeah.
I do know that. Yeah.
And Soros is behind a lot of it
Soros
too.
is definitely behind MSNBC, CNN. Yeah, but the local stations, those are Sinclair. That's Murdoch. Yeah.
Papers too.
Papers
Billionaire-owned.
and the Pink
Yeah,
Floyd.
and you don't think,
Bezos.
and you don't think,
Musk.
and you don't think Soros has any influence on him?
I'm not
Well-
saying they don't. I'm saying people with more money have way outsized influence.
So
on
much
thinking.
power, more than we will ever know,
Ever,
probably.
ever,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
generations.
yeah. And now, what is that about?
And
Boy, we should be coming together,
if
guys.
we don't-
we should be coming together.
if we don't get the change in administration, none of us are going to have a chance to get that to have money like that.
So I'm a bit of a. I think both parties we won't have any chance. That's where I'm at. But yeah.
My
More
husband's
of a
niece.
comfortable existence on the other side.
On
My
the other side,
husband's
yeah.
niece was always an absolute liberal. Okay. Until the last 10 years. She is now a mother, but as she's watched what went on, as she's watched the political environment over the last 10 years, she has definitely become a hardcore Trump supporter. Because even she, at her young age and being a mother, even she has seen the change in our country and how it's gone downhill. And I have just as many friends that are gay as are straight.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
of
a
both-
great
of both
percentage.
sex-
That's a lot of gay friends. Yeah.
Actually, I probably have more friends that are gay.
Hey, nice.
But the vast majority of them, support Trump.
Weird.
Are they also
I didn't know
white?
that.
All races, dear.
All races.
All races.
Black, gay, Trump supporter.
Yes.
We gotta
I
find
gotta
that.
meet that
We gotta find that person.
Not
yeah.
that I'm saying it's
Yeah.
out of the realm of possibility, because I have
Right.
Nigerian friends that are Trump supporters too. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah! Yeah! Woo!
Trump, what do you have to say to the American people out here in San Antonio, Texas?
What I have to say is they need to vote. Today is very important. They need to vote for their children and their grandchildren. They need to not be a one-issue voter. They need to vote for America because they're the last chance that we have to save America by voting for Trump. Because forget about socialism, we're going closer to communism than socialism.
Can you please define socialism for me?
Excuse me?
Can you please define socialism and communism for me, Trump?
Socialism is the beginning of communism, but we're way past that already with all of the George Soros appointees or funded people who are in power, like New York. All of them are funded. All of the legal system, the courts, that's why they found 35 counts against Trump. But they weren't correct. It's already been handed down that that's illegal what they did for Trump. They didn't even know what he was charged for. They were looking for something to charge him with.
Do you
Okay?
believe in
So,
equality for all, Mr. Trump?
excuse me?
Do you believe in equality for all?
I do. I believe we're all Americans. People think that if you're part of Trump, that you're a racist, and that cannot be further from the truth. Also, the 2025 thing, it's not even part of Trump's agenda. Look up his policies. It very clearly states what he wants. Kamala, you can't even interview her live. She hides, she flip-flops, like what she did in 2 different states. One of them, full of Arabs, he says, I'm for Palestine. The next day, she goes to one full of Jewish people. I'm for Israel. Well, which one are you for? You can't flip-flop.
Which one are you for, Trump?
Israel, of course.
All right. Well, Trump, hope you don't grab me by my pussy, but it's wonderful to meet you today, sir. Yes.
No, he doesn't do that either.
Any other last words for the American people, Trump?
Just don't be a one-issue voter. Vote for your children and your grandchildren. We don't want America to be a communist party. Please watch anything but the mainstream media, and that includes MSNBC, Fox, ABC, CBS. Watch Newsmax if you have to watch an American news channel, but watch a foreign channel like the BBC, Australia. They tell you the truth. And also look for local channels. In Chicago, how people are suffering, how the black community has switched because migrants have taken over. We need to close our borders. It's not safe for us.
And when you say we shouldn't be a communist country, what is communism? What does that mean?
Communism is everything's controlled by the government.
Okay.
Everything.
Okay.
You don't want to have Wi-Fi controlled by the government, do you?
No.
That's what Biden had plans for.
I feel like it would be slow and inefficient.
Just like the government.
Just
Just like bureaucracy. Well, what an honor, Trump. I've never met a president before, so
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And don't forget, you guys are young, keep fighting and educate yourself. Please don't listen to mainstream media. Hopefully they'll be outcast in the next 3 to 5 years and social media will take over. Watch more of the podcasts. Okay? Where they interview actual people and the whistleblowers who are coming forward.
You heard it here, folks. Listen to actual people like us. We're not the media. We're not journalists. We're just a couple of comedians out here talking to Donald J. Trump. Hell yes. Well, happy Election Day. Great talking to all y'all.
All righty. Bye-bye.
So, Asia Olay here with a voter, political supporter. Who are you?
My name's Andrew Hill. I'm out here today because I want to be civically engaged and put a win in the column, the democracy column today. So,
How important is this election?
it's pretty important. When you look at the long-term big issues like climate change, we've got to get serious about that. And one candidate really is serious about it, and one candidate thinks it's a joke and a hoax. It's not.
Are you a professor along with your wife?
I am. I'm a professor at St. Philip's College, where I teach philosophy.
Ooh, philosophy. What is your philosophy?
I teach mostly ethics, so I'm primarily an ethicist. My specialization is what they call international humanitarian law, the law of war, and the ethics involved with that.
Oh, wow.
So it's
That's a pretty good topic. We were talking about Ukraine. What are your thoughts on Ukraine?
no, Ukraine is. Listen, I got to tell you, I'm old enough to appreciate the power and significance and danger of these three words: war in Europe. Because I got to tell you, war in Europe has major direct implications for all of us here in the United States and around the world.
What'll happen if there's war in Europe?
What's happening now, which is that Putin and Russia are invading and killing people. You got to think the resources that Russia have, they could be such a great force for good in the world. And yet when you look at their history of violence and invading their neighbors, beginning with Georgia and now Ukraine, they've got a long history under Putin. I mean, not even historically, but just in recent years, it's a lot of death and destruction for nothing but Putin's ego, I'm afraid.
So on the other side, they were saying that the Ukraine war wouldn't have started if Trump was in office. And they were also saying that the world feared us. What are your thoughts on that?
I would disagree. And I would politely say that just because someone's president, there's not a magic that happens. You have to have diplomacy. President Trump, when he was president, famously said he didn't care about the State Department because he was the only person in charge of anything. And the State Department really languished and withered under his presidency. And that had major implications for us and for international diplomacy. And so I'm glad we survived those 4 years. They were difficult. We paid a lot of penalties just in terms of the world opinion of the United States. Mm-hmm. Listen, all you have to do is watch on YouTube when he presented in New York at the United Nations, and the other people, these are professional diplomats who know better, could not contain their laughter. It was a really embarrassing moment.
So no decorum, no respect, just...
They tried their best, but at some point, even they're human beings, they have limits, so.
But do you think Donald Trump would be feared in office for fear of what he would do, or for what?
Other countries do fear what he would do because they're afraid of the damage of his policies. He's somebody who was president of the United States who still doesn't know what a tariff is. And so there's lots of negative repercussions that happened when he was president, and it would happen again. Although, as many people have pointed out, it would be dramatically worse in a second Trump administration because you wouldn't have the same people that acted as guardrails and reined him in a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think a Vance presidency could be like if he was next in line?
J.D. Vance?
Gotta watch out for those couches for sure.
Again, on J.D. Vance, all you have to do is Google it, look at him on YouTube saying, "I'm a never Trumper." I mean, you can watch him say it.
He wasn't truthful about that.
I'd like to say that his position evolved over time.
So any other issues besides climate change and international law affecting your vote, or have you voted yet?
It turns out I have voted. Like I said, we want to put one in the win column for democracy. But listen, one thing which is clear, which is that on many, many different issues, there's a very wide difference between the two paths. A Harris presidency versus a Trump presidency, those are very different paths and futures for our country.
I voted for the Supreme Court because I'm like, please, God, please let us get at least another liberal justice in there, at least for balance. I don't want to go back to being in chains or not having a vote. Right. I don't know Spanish, and I refuse to go to Canada. So where does that leave me?
Yeah, no, but listen, you're right. In terms of the makeup, not just of the Supreme Court, but of the federal judiciary across all the districts and appellate
Lifetime
courts.
appointments.
Yeah, no, this is significant. Because you got to remember, the Supreme Court has the final say on the issues, and that's why what they do is important. But when you look at the vast amount of cases that are being settled and become permanent law because they don't get appealed up, the Supreme Court now takes a smaller and smaller amount of cases every year. And so it turns out most of that law is being done by the federal judges, and people underestimate the important impact of those judges at all levels, not just the Supreme Court.
All right, sir, I'm here with you. My name is Asia Olay. You just said you tried to vote.
Yeah. I tried to vote. I thought I was registered, but I guess not. I thought I registered as soon as I got my driver's license, but I guess I didn't. So, yeah, I got to fill out this application or whatever, register again. And then,
Did they give you a provisional ballot?
a provisional ballot? I don't know what that is.
It's a ballot in place of one, like your official one, just to kind of like a placeholder type thing while you get registered.
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Might want to go back and ask him if you could have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, just ask him for one. They're supposed to give it to you by law.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you for the interview. What's your name, ma'am?
My name's Israel.
Israel? We were talking about you earlier.
That's cool.
Yeah.
that's cool.
Well, nice to meet you. Thank you for
Nice to meet
talking
you
with
too.
us.
That's cool.
All right, bye.
Hey, are we connected? Yes, we are. Okay.
Hello.
Hey, so
Hi.
it was us.
It was us.
We did it.
We did it.
We did the thing.
We did all the
Yeah,
things.
happy election day.
Yeah,
we
I
learned
really hope you fucking voted.
Yes.
Democracy is really counting on it because,
Yes.
we're going to have a Trump kingdom
Yeah.
if, because people are willing to die. We
Liter-
actually met somebody who's willing to die.
She literally
for
said
this
she
shit.
was willing to die.
And we were like, what do you mean by
Right,
that? And
right.
she's like,
and that
I mean what I said.
there are prophets of God that she will listen to, and one of those is Pastor
Hagee.
Hagee, and he has specifically said
The
that there
cornerstone of all belief.
Yes, the cornerstone
Yeah.
cult.
Oh,
Yes,
geez.
yes. So
That shit was fucking
don't drink the
crazy.
Kool-Aid. I hope you voted. Happy
Please, God.
election day.
Please,
This
stay
is-
in line.
Stay in line.
And if they don't let you vote, get a provisional ballot. We
Yes.
just told this guy to do that.
Because voter suppression is wild in Texas.
fucking crazy.
And yeah, we learned nothing today.
We didn't.
I hope you did.
It reiterated my beliefs.
I want to die. I
Yeah.
don't want to be president. I don't
Oh,
want to exist.
we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
We'll see. We're
We're distracting ourselves from
Yeah.
the inevitability of a really negative result. But hey, we tried.
We did what we could.
We did.
Yeah, and this is Asia and
Hello.
Broke.
Asia Olay, baby.
Peace out. Vote, baby.